Hello, everybody out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And we're going to continue to talk some more about Eat, Pray, Love, your movie with Julia Big Mouth Roberts, the queen of the chick flicks. At least she was from like the late 80s, all through the 90s. So probably the late 2000s, maybe around this time, maybe a little bit after this movie, which is 2010. That her career started to decline and she just aged out. Okay, it's what happens to most actors, okay, especially women. They age out. Okay, no one ever talks about this really. I mean, they mention a little bit in movies and stuff, but no one ever really focuses on that because these movies are meant to show you how strong and empowered and independent women are. Women cannot be portrayed with having any sort of faults. Okay, everything's the man's problem, not the woman's problem. The only problem a woman has is the man that's in her life. Okay, things like that. Okay, and you can't show vulnerability. For example, women aren't allowed to cry and get emotional, about anything. Okay, they can't be saved by a man. But the men are more than freely allowed, okay, to act like total idiots, to make dumb jokes that nobody laughs at, to cry and whine like a little kid, and emasculate themselves, self-depreciation, all sorts of things like that. The men are freely allowed to do that in these movies. The women do not. The women have to come across as strong. They cannot show vulnerability. Okay, they cannot show weakness. Okay, definitely not in front of a man. All right. So these kind of things are not allowed, especially for an actress the caliber of Julia Roberts. Her emoting range is limited to what she thinks about herself, okay, based on the circumstances that are outside of her control. And what I mean by that is she'll feel sorry for herself because, the marriage ended or the relationship with the boyfriend ended. Okay, things like that. Okay, but what she won't do is confront the fact that she was the cause of the marriage ending, that she is the cause of the relationship ending. Okay, she'll blame her circumstances on outside forces. Okay, for example, her marriage, it was fate. Fate decided that her marriage would not last. You see what I mean? Fate decided that her relationship to David would not last. Okay, things like that. This whole movie, she's trying to do two things. She's trying to experience, sensations that she hasn't felt before. Basically a girl's trip. Okay, but by herself. And she also, so that's one thing. She wants to experience things: food, sex, exotic locations. Exotic rituals, things like that, meditations, all sorts of things. She wants to experience all these sensations, okay? That's one part of her goal. The other part of her goal is she wants to absolve herself, okay, of her guilt, okay? Now, she doesn't really show guilt. It has to be pointed out to her, but she wants to absolve herself of her selfish decisions, okay? She wants to be forgiven before the fact because she knows that she's going to do things that are selfish. Okay, it's like asking for forgiveness before you've done something bad. Okay, that's what she's trying to do. And now that she has done something bad, there's that little thing inside of her, that little annoying little thing that reminds her that she's an insufferable bitch for what she did. Okay, and no matter how much meditation she does or how much food she eats or how much sex she has or anything like that, there's just that one thing in the back of her mind that just keeps fucking with her. Okay, that thing is her Jiminy Cricket. That's her conscience. Okay, her conscience, because she's not irredeemable. Okay, her character Liz Gilbert is not a heartless person. Okay, she does have a heart. The problem is it's a very selfish heart. The part of her that actually has a conscience, that actually feels empathy for the people that she screwed over, that part of her is just annoying her right now. And she's trying hard as she can to get rid of that feeling, get rid of that sense of guilt. Because her life would be pretty damn good if that little sense of guilt that she has just would go away. Just go away. You see what I mean? It's that feeling you get when you've done something wrong and you got away with it. And you know you're not going to get caught. You also know you're not going to confess. But it's in the back of your mind somehow. It's just like that little guilt. That sense of, damn it. You know, it's almost worse that you got away with it because you're the only one that knows what you did. You see what I mean? And that sense of guilt that she feels is what she's trying to get rid of this whole movie. Okay? Now, she ain't going to say that. That's not what anybody, I don't even think the writer, the real Liz Gilbert that wrote this book, is even aware of it, to be honest with you. I think that, I think that she's just searching for sensations. She's just searching for, happiness external of herself. You see, I don't think she's aware of how selfish that she is or how the things that she's trying to do are not very noble. Okay, there's a reason we have a conscience. Okay, it protects us from making bad decisions. It protects us from hurting people. It keeps us from being psychopaths. Okay, it keeps us relative to a sense of moral ground, what's right and what's wrong. If it makes you feel bad to do it, it's probably wrong. So don't do it. Okay, that's why it's there. That's why we have it. We have a sense of right and wrong. It just means that we're human. We want to treat each other with kindness. We want to respect each other. And when we don't do that, there's something in our programming that tells us this isn't good. What you're doing is not good. You see? And Liz spends this movie trying to override that, trying to get rid of that feeling so that she can live life to her fullest. If only it wasn't for that little thing in the back of her mind that just keeps nagging at her. Okay? And to me, that's not very noble. Okay? That's not, I can understand of a person who, with faults accidentally does something because of something else that they did. I can understand that. That's what happens to Rich. Okay, her little mentor, her Texan mentor in India. Okay, he's in India because he feels bad about his life. Okay, he feels a lot of regret because of the decisions that he made. Okay, which are valid, but he's trying to restart his life. Okay, knowing that he has to face the consequences of his actions. The difference with Liz is Liz does not want to face the consequences of her actions. She wants to absolve herself of the consequences, okay, and still keep doing what she's doing. Okay, that's the thing. Instead of listening to her heart, listening to that inner voice, she's trying to shut it up so that she can be happy, joyous, and free without having to worry about stupid things like guilt and conscience. No, that's going to get in the way of the Pene Pomodoro. Okay, that's going to get in the way of the cock carousel. You see what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. That's what this movie's about. Okay, this movie inspired lots of middle-aged liberal women to just leave their husbands and just go off on vacation. Endless summer. Okay, of riding the cock carousel and stuffing your face. Okay, and body positivity, and making friends and screwing a lot of people. Okay, and then coming back and settling down because you'll find a high value man by then, right? Right, ladies? No. Even Liz Gilbert never found a high value man, and if she did, she got rid of him. Okay, because she was too stupid to realize that she had a high value man because she was too narcissistic. The grass is always green. There's always a better partner out there. If you can't find the right guy, then get the right girl, because she did that too. Okay, and that didn't work out well for her either. Okay, so right now Liz Gilbert, is in her 60s somewhere, living alone with a bunch of cats. Got lots of money, but she's living alone with a bunch of cats. Okay, that's her future. Okay, that's what these books inspired her to do. Okay, that's the result of her choices. Okay, ladies, for God's sake, don't fall down this path. Okay, life is meant to be lived. Okay. And a part of life, okay, is to do to others, is to do for others. We don't just live for ourselves, okay? Life isn't some big fucking vacation where you just go around and eat a lot of food and meditate with a bunch of religions that aren't Christianity, okay? And have sex with a lot of people. That's not how life works, okay? It's not realistic. It's a very selfish, narrow view of life, okay? And when you spend your whole life being selfish, guess what? You're going to end up alone. You're going to die alone. Because nobody cared about you. There was no room for anybody to care about you. You cared about yourself so much, you don't leave any room for anybody else. You see what I mean? You didn't leave room to care about anybody else. So why the hell should anyone care about you? That's the sad realization of this, okay? But the movie's not going to tell you that. It's going to give you all this other psychological mumbo jumbo about finding yourself and living your truth, okay? Of putting myself first for a change. You know, that kind of bullshit, okay? It's just narcissism. That's all it is. Disguised as self-actualization, okay? It's pretentious, it's hypocritical, okay? And it's perfect for all you middle-aged women out there that think that what you need to be happy is just to change your partner, go on vacation, abandon the church, whatever it is, okay? Traditionalism is the enemy. Go do something else. Live your best life. Live your truth. You see what I mean? This is where it ends up. It ends up alone with a bunch of cats. All right? No children, no husband, no nothing. Nobody there to love you, to care about you except your freaking cats. Okay, that's pretty sad. But if you want to know how to do it, follow the instructions in this movie. All right? Okay, so where did we leave off last time? Okay, so by now, Liz is in India, okay, a disgusting country, okay, full of filth and pestilence, okay. I mean, there's human feces on the street, okay, of all different species, okay. People wash themselves next to the same places where people urinated, where animals urinated, where cows urinated, okay. It is a filthy, filthy, filthy country. Disgusting, okay? But the reason it's here in this movie is because there is a virtue to it, okay? You want to know what that is, okay? It's not white, okay? Now, India, okay, anybody who's ever been to the UK knows that there are a hell of a lot of Indians over there, okay? And it's obvious why, for a time, the British Empire did control India, okay? And a lot of them made it to the UK and stayed there. Okay, and vice versa. A lot of UK people, okay, British people went to India. It's a vacation spot there. They go there. They convert to to Hinduism and stuff. And they go to the ashrams, okay, the mandirs, all that. So they go there for that stuff, the meditation, the enlightenment, and all that other mumbo jumbo crap that you could easily do at home. Okay, but no, you got to go to India to do it the right way. You see what I mean? It's all pretentious crap. It's just ways to get people to come visit their country and squeeze as much money as they can from Westerners. Okay, and that's what Liz gets caught up in. Okay, the guy that she was sleeping with while she was still married to her husband Stephen, his name was David, played by James Franco. He's an in between jobs actor in New York. Okay, and he was Hindu. He converted because he went to Calcutta. And so this inspired Liz to go to Calcutta as well, to go to the ashram over there and meet the yogi and all that, the guru, but the guru was gone. The guru was in New York, so they missed each other. So now she's stuck there on this retreat, okay, to learn about Hinduism and to pray, despite the fact that she spent no energy learning the language or trying to read the book, the Vedas. That's the book, the Hindu Bible. She didn't try to learn the language or the customs or any of that stuff. So she literally can only speak to people that speak English over there. Luckily, there's a lot of them. All right. So she's there, okay, and she meets there's this guy, the old man, American guy, who keeps eavesdropping on her conversations with this young Indian girl named Tulsi. Tulsi, of course, immediately bonds with Liz over her upcoming nuptials. Okay, her parents arranged her to get married to some dork-looking guy. The guy that owns the 7-Eleven you go to. Okay, but a younger version of that. And she doesn't want, because she thinks that Indian men are butt ugly. She wants to be like with a Brad Pitt type guy, with the ripped abs and the square jaw, making 7 figures a year. That's what she deserves, despite the fact that she's clearly a freaking 3 out of 10. Okay, she deserves the best. Why? Because she's meant to be a boss bitch. Okay, that's her dream in life, is to be a boss bitch, to be a psychologist, to go to some Ivy League school in America, be a psychologist, wear Louis Vuittons, and Versace and stuff like that, emasculate men, and just walk around buying herself nice things for the rest of her life. Okay, she can't settle down with the guy that owns 3 7-Elevens. Okay, that those guys are ugly. Okay, they're disgusting, and she wants nothing to do with that. But her parents are making her do it. So feminism, how could I end up with such a terrible family? And of course, this is how she bonds with Liz, because Liz also is a strong, tough, independent boss bitch woman with a career, no kids, no husband, girls first, body positivity, all that kind of shit. Okay, so she relates to that, because that's what she is. She don't need no man. Okay, except when she does. Okay, so yeah, all that's going on here. Okay, and now they're best friends. But now this old man, this Texan guy, decides he's going to just jump into her life and start talking to her and start mentoring her, despite the fact that she never asked him for fucking help. Okay, he just decides to take it upon himself. He even has a nickname for her. He starts calling her Groceries. That's her name, Groceries, because she's carrying all this baggage. Get it? You get it? You get it? That's the level of intelligence of the writing here. Okay, the real Liz Gilbert wrote this piece of shit, by the way. Okay, Groceries. All right, so that's going on here. Okay, Liz does some more meditation. Okay, she can't stop thinking about where she's going to live after this year. She can't even last 2 minutes meditating. Okay, she can't stop thinking about what's going to happen to her once this fucking this summer trip that she's doing. She's going to Rome, which she already did. She's going to India, which she's doing right now, and then she's going to go to Bali in Indonesia for a while, and then she's got to go back to the United States after that. To go back to work, because she'll run out of money by then. She has no idea where in the United States she's going to live or what she's going to do. Nothing. She has no plan other than this fucking expensive long vacation that she's on, all right? Of self-discovery, okay? So she can't even bring herself to meditate for 2 minutes, all right? So she storms out of there, out of the meditation chamber, and she runs into Richard, who's just walking around, this big, tall, Texan, bald, white guy, who's in his 60s, wearing glasses, just walking around, stalking her, always looking over at her, always staring her down and stuff, that kind of thing. Okay. Liz says, if you're so smart, what are you doing here? Okay, because clearly they got off on the wrong foot. He's acting very judgmental of her, and that pisses her off. She's used to guys just fucking creaming all over her, subjugating themselves to her, kissing her ass, eating out her asshole, buying her flowers, telling her how great she is, what an incredible, boss bitch she is. That's what she's used to, men treating her that way. And Richard's not treating her that way, so that pisses her off. Because clearly she deserves to be treated like a queen, okay? That kind of, when men don't do that, it pisses her off, all right? And that's what Richard's doing here. He's basically talking down to her, okay? And she doesn't like that, okay? So she tells him, if you're so smart, what are you doing here? And Richard says, if you're here, you're smart already. Now, he talks very condescendingly to her, like he knows more than she does, despite the fact that he's only been there maybe a week longer than her, okay? But he's acting like he's fucking Yoda of the goddamn Hindu temple, okay? Anyway, he tells you, if you're here, you're smart already. Now, if you want to talk about it, so that's how he hits on women. If you want to talk, that's his opening line there, okay, to get women to suck his dick, okay? He comes across as this know-it-all guy, and then he offers her the opportunity to talk to him. You see what I mean? This is clearly there's a lot of women out there, and I know this for a fact. You ever wonder why there's so many guys that are in their 40s and 50s that can easily land a girl who's 22, easily seduce her and fuck her? You know why? Because these women are lacking father figures. Okay, they're lacking father figures. Okay, yes, I'm guilty of this myself. Okay, so sue me. All right, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I learned from the best. Okay. They come across, okay, as like a father figure. Like, I'll take care of you. Oh, talk to me. It's all right. I'm here for you. Whatever you need. That kind of thing. And then slowly, over the course of some interactions, she starts dependent on the guy more. Okay, and the next thing you know, your dick is in her mouth. Oh my God, how did that happen? It just happened. You see what I mean? Okay, this is on purpose. Okay, this is how it's done. Okay, this way you come across as an authoritative figure who's got his shit together. And this woman, clearly, if you tap at a woman enough, you'll realize where her faults are. And that this projection of boss bitchiness that she has is just a ruse. It's her armor, okay? Once you start looking at the cracks of her armor, okay, you start calling her out for her bullshit, she's gonna start respecting you a little bit more because you're not treating her like all the other guys treat her. They can't see past the surface. You're pretending to see past the surface, and that automatically makes you look like you're wise. Like there's just things that that, if she gets to know you better, she can learn it too. And that makes you more interesting to her, okay? And you're more trusting. She's more trusting of you and that kind of thing. And then eventually, your dick goes in her mouth. And that's how it works, okay? So that's what Richard is doing here, okay? He's playing the game and she's falling for it. Why? Because unfortunately, ladies, I know you're all independent, smart-ass boss bitches and all that kind of bullshit, all right? But the truth is, most of you are fucking suckers for this shit. Okay, and that's honest to God truth, okay? It's one of the reasons it's very hard for me to respect women like this, because I know the truth, okay? You want to be dominated. You want a man to fucking take charge of this shit, but you're going to put on this big fucking act like you don't need a fucking man, okay? All you're really doing to guys that know better, okay, is you're advertising how much you do need a man and how much you do want a strong man, okay, to take charge of your fucking life, to take charge of you, okay? This is all a fucking act, okay? And we get a guy that knows this about women, knows women enough, understands this, okay? So this is going on here, okay? He tells her, you're smart here, you want to talk about it. Liz says, I don't want to talk to you. I can't focus in here. I can't focus in there. You know what? I think about decorating, okay? And Richard says, like, are you shitting me? See how judgmental his tone is to her? He doesn't even know this woman. He's already telling her you're fucking things up. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Women want a father figure, okay? They want a guy who can be strong and older and wiser and more masculine and more weathered, okay? And had more experiences and more knowledgeable about shit, all right? Because they can feel safe that way. They can feel protected that way, okay? They don't have to wear that armor all the goddamn time when they're around a guy like that, okay? He's like, are you shitting me? The meditation room is within groceries. Why don't you decorate that? So basically he's telling her, okay, that the meditation you're trying to do is not in that room. It's inside your soul, okay? This is where you got to do it. Not in there, in here, okay? So she's going about it all wrong. She's only looking at the superficial. She's not looking at the internal, okay? And Liz says, like, do you always speak in bumper sticker language? Which, honest to God, I thought that was a cool line. I use that line myself. Okay, whenever I hear fucking people talking about this psychobabble mumbo jumbo that you hear all the fucking time, I have issues, okay? I have dependency. I have, so it's just a psycho mumbo jumbo crap, okay? You're speaking in bumper sticker language. Shut the fuck up, okay? You're a walking bumper sticker, okay? You're speaking in generalities. Okay, all these fucking platitudes that you read out of a book somewhere. Get the fuck out of here. Attitude of gratitude, but bullshit like that, right? Anyway, so that's going on here, okay? And Richard says, I do speak in bumper sticker language. And you need to select your thoughts the way you select your clothes every day. That's a power that you can cultivate. He uses his hands for a lot of his fucking talking. He'll do this a lot when we're just like, he'll be like, you're this, okay, and then you can just do it and just pull it in and cultivate it and just bring it all inside you and like that, okay? He does a lot of that shit in this fucking movie. That's the way he talks, okay? He's a fucking drama queen out the ass. All right, okay. So he's telling her that, okay, he's like, that's a power you can cultivate. You want to control your life so bad? Work on the mind. That's the only thing you should be trying to control. If you can't master your thoughts, you're in trouble forever. And Liz, this works. I told you the father figure approach works. Okay, I know, I've done it. It works. And that now she's like this. She's like, I'm trying. Okay, so he broke down her defenses. He got right through her fucking attitude. He called out her bullshit. And honest to God, you know, if I was doing this to her, I would just be guessing. I would be guessing that these are the problems because everything that he was saying would work on anybody. Okay, whether you're an alcoholic, whether you have OCD, whether you're, you suffer from depression, okay, whether you have some sort of like a sexual trauma or whatever, he says the exact same words. She automatically fills in the blanks and finds out how his psycho mumble jumble babble relates to her specifically. Now she's lowered her defenses because this man understands her. Finally, okay, no, it's not. He's speaking in generalities. Okay, this shit could work on anybody. Okay, there's nothing special about what he said here about working on your mind. Okay, control your thoughts. You got to pick out your thoughts every day the way you pick out your clothes. Okay, that's just psycho mumbo jumbo bullshit. Okay, it sounds good to listen to, but what does it fucking mean? It means nothing. It means nothing at all. Okay, what he's talking about, we do it already anyway. Okay, when we get up in the morning, we think about what we're going to do that day. We think about what chores do I have? What do I want to happen? These things happen automatically. You don't have to force yourself to do these things. You see what I mean? Okay, there's nothing in here that the average person isn't already doing. This is all pretentious bullshit. But it sounds really smart and clever, so it works when it comes to fucking young women. All right? So Richard says, like, quit trying. Quit trying. Just surrender. Go out to the garden, sit there, and still your mind. Watch what happens. Just let it be. In other words, you got to try harder at sitting and doing nothing. You need to think harder. Okay. Can you imagine how many tens of thousands of dollars people spent to learn this shit by going over there? You know, risking hepatitis and all these other diseases just to learn this shit. Liz says, like, well, you look like James Taylor. I got nothing about that. And Richard says, yep, I get told that every day. I look like James Taylor. Who gives a shit, dude? James Taylor was a soft rock singer from the 70s. He was a crooner. He sang folk songs about love, okay, with his high-pitched voice. Who gives a shit? All right, moving right along. While making tortillas, yeah, I guess, the Hindu equivalent of tortillas, Richard notices Liz wandering. He's spying on her. So he's sitting there making his tortillas, and he's always looking around. There's Liz just walking around, daydreaming, you know, getting horny, because she's horny, okay? She's just walking around. You know, he notices Liz wandering around with lots of mosquito bites, and he points them out to her, all the mosquito bites that she has. And so now she's got the fucking bubonic plague. Richard says, like, bites will go away. Everything. He yells this at her because she doesn't come up and they have a conversation. No, she's walking around. He's yelling all this to her while she's walking away, while she's like 20 feet away from him. He's like, bites will go away, groceries. Everything goes away. You ever beg for a sign, groceries? Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. You see, bumper sticker language. You know, you just ordinary shit. You know what's worse than daytime? Nighttime. You know, just stupid shit like that. And that's supposed to sound very like, you know, like nuanced or something. What the fuck? Liz says, like, what is your problem? Did you fall in love with the wrong woman? Okay, so she got to attack his masculinity. He doesn't say anything. Next scene, Liz receives a phone call. She receives a phone call at the ashram, yes, from David back in New York. That was the guy that she was screwing while she was still planning her divorce. Okay, he was the actor, played by James Franco. All right. So yeah, I didn't think I'd see him again, but there he is. All right. So she gets a phone call from David. Okay, apologizes for not responding to the email. Now, earlier when she was there in Calcutta, she wrote David an email explaining how, how she's sorry that their relationship ended and all this kind of crap. She's just saying this shit because she's horny. She hasn't been laid. He's the last guy that she fucked. Okay, and she's already been to Rome for like 6 weeks and didn't have sex with anybody, despite the fact that she was hanging out with all these people, going to all these nightclubs, drinking all this alcohol and eating all this fucking food. She still didn't get laid while she was in Rome. Okay, now she's in Calcutta, and the pickings are slim. Okay, so so she's missing David now. Okay, because she's horny. Okay, and she sent him an email a few weeks ago. She never got a response, but now she's getting a phone call from him. All right. So he apologizes for not responding to the email. He didn't want to be in it anymore with her. Okay, that's why. So when they broke up, he basically cut himself off from her, which is the right thing to do. Okay, it's what I do. When a relationship ends, I cut everything off of that woman. Okay, no more phone calls, no more social media, no more none of that shit. Okay, her life is her business. My life is my business now. I don't need her checking up on me. I don't need her fucking sending me messages anymore. None of that fucking shit. All right. Okay, that's the right thing to do. Okay, it really is. Whether she dumped you or you dumped her, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, when a relationship is over, it needs to be over. There is no back way to getting back with that person. Okay, at least you shouldn't go there. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it myself, but you shouldn't do it. Okay, there's a reason that relationship ended. Otherwise, there's just false expectations. Okay, and the one thing that's going to ruin a relationship is expectations. Okay, so that's what he's doing, and he did the right thing, all right? So basically, when she said, well, you never asked me to stay here, and she got in the taxi and left, she got in the car with her friend, whatever the fuck her name is, and left for the airport, that's when he fucking quit thinking about her, quit trying to get a hold of her, nothing. He just cut everything off, okay? What a real guy does when this happens, he starts fucking somebody else, okay? The best way to get over someone is to get under somebody, okay? And that's honest God truth, okay? Guys, you need to fucking understand this, okay? Because these guys keep holding on, okay? No. When the relationship is over, dude, you need to go fuck someone else because it's gonna make you feel better. It's gonna make you feel better, okay? And it's gonna remind you, okay, that you were somebody before her, okay? You were somebody before her, and you can still fucking get laid, okay? You can get laid, and that's something that women find very attractive in men is men that can get laid easily, okay? But at least on a regular basis. Okay, because women know what that's like, but most men don't know what that's like. You see what I mean? A woman knows what it's like to fucking, she can catch a dick pretty fucking easily. Okay, it's not difficult. If the woman's average looking or above, it's going to be very easy for her, okay, to get laid. Okay, that's not a challenge for most women that are average looking and above, okay? But for an average guy, women are not attracted to average men. You have to have something about you that stands out, that makes her want to be attracted to you. You see what I mean? Okay, there's a reason why women go for the same types of guy that are typically the 10% of the available men that are out there. Okay, they're all competing for that guy instead of paying attention to the other 90%. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Okay, because men that can get laid easily are very rare. Okay, because they represent exactly what women are looking for. They're just not going to tell you that. Okay, so there are guys that are like that. Okay, if you happen to be one of the guys that are like that, okay, you got nothing to worry about. If you don't, then you need to work on it so that you can be close to that. Okay, the point is, as long as you have a revolving number of women coming in and out of your life at all times, you're going to be fine. No girl breaking your heart, okay, is going to do that much damage because you've got another one lined up already. You see what I mean? Okay, a woman taught me this, okay, and I'm telling you right now, this is the best way to get over any sort of break. This is why I haven't suffered from a heartbreak in a couple of decades, to be honest with you. I haven't, okay, because I've always had a woman ready, at least one ready in case this one doesn't work out. You see what I mean? That doesn't mean I'm cheating. It just means that, okay, I've got options. I've got options. You never put all your eggs in one basket. When you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because even though you're in love and even though you're fucking devoted and faithful, okay, and you see fucking IRA accounts, okay, and station wagons, you know, and retirement and all that kind of stuff with this woman and playing with your grandkids together with this woman, okay, you never know when she's going to fucking leave you for fucking Big Dick Richie, okay, and then what are you going to do? Exactly. There was no plan B. You see what I mean? And that's your fault. That's your fucking fault, okay? You got to take care of your own shit. You can't depend on anyone else doing it for you. You see what I mean? That's what being a man is. Taking care of your own shit. You see what I mean? These movies aren't going to tell you that. But it's fucking true. And women do this. Just do what they do, for Christ's sake. I'm so sick and tired of these guys out there that when the girl leaves them, they're fucking all like suicidal and shit now. Oh yeah, her car blowing up her phone, trying to get her back. What the fuck, dude? She's fucking somebody else. Why the fuck are you? And whose fault is that? So why don't you do better? You can't change the past, but you can learn and not make those mistakes again. You see what I mean? Gosh. But you never learn that from watching these fucking movies. All right? So that's going on here. So Liz receives a phone call from David, apologizes. He doesn't want to be in it with her anymore. That's what he says. She calls their relationship bad timing. So they broke up because it was bad timing. No, it wasn't bad fucking timing. Okay, she was married. Okay? She had just left her husband. She told him that she won't be married to him anymore. Okay, and she moved out. And she was living with her friend. Okay, Viola Davis's character, I forgot her name. Delia. Okay, she was living with Delia and her husband. Okay, and then she moved in with her boyfriend, the guy that she started fucking like the day after she told her husband she won't be married anymore. She met this actor who starred in one of the plays that she wrote. Okay, it was a piece of shit play. I ain't gonna go get into it again. Okay, but guess what? She was attracted to him. We don't know how old Liz is in this movie. I think in the book she was 33, but Julia Roberts was actually 42 when she filmed this movie. So I'm guessing that Liz in the movie is also 42, like the actress is. And James Franco was 31 when he filmed this movie, but his character is 28. Okay, so you've got a 42-year-old woman who falls for a 28-year-old guy. He's an out-of-work actor, lives in a shitty fucking apartment like an out-of-work actor would have in New York. So all that's going on here. Okay, and she meets him, she likes him, he's attractive, they start fucking. Guess what? He's Hindu. He turns her on to Hindu. Okay, so she decides, oh, that's cool, it's different, it looks fun, I'm gonna chant, and she calls him the yogi from Yonkers, and they go to Central Park together, they have a lot of sex, they do each other's laundry at the laundromat, all that kind of shit, all that's going on, and then finally her divorce goes through. Okay, now it's time for her to meet with the lawyers, all that stuff, and officially divorce her husband. Of course, her husband acts like a total fucking immature idiot. She feels guilty, so she decides to give him everything in the divorce. Okay, once that divorce is over, then she starts having problems with her boyfriend, David. Now they start fighting. Now they're not having sex anymore. Now she feels that he's been depriving her of intimacy, that he's not love bombing her enough. She's unsatisfied with him. He's not making her come anymore. He's ignoring her bitchiness. Like he puts on headphones and tries to meditate while she's trying to fucking argue with him. She throws pillows at him when they're making the bed. She complains about him to her fucking, while she's giving lectures and shit to women about how men all fucking suck, and she uses her current boyfriend David as an example. She complains to her best friend about David. She's just like, oh my God, this guy is such a fucking immature asshole. I'm so fucking tired of him. Oh my God, I'm not happy. This is all bug. How do you get the fuck out of here? So she starts finding fault with this guy now, and he doesn't want to handle it. He doesn't want to fucking deal with her bitchiness. He's like, bitch, I'm fucking 28, okay? You're fucking 42. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my life then if you don't like it, okay? That kind of thing. I didn't ask you to fucking live in here with me. What the fuck, dude? Go date a guy your own age and quit bringing up your ex-husband. I'm tired of you comparing me to him and all that kind of shit. So she finally decides that she's gonna fucking leave the United States, just fucking go off to Italy, to fucking India, and to fucking Indonesia, okay? That's what prompts her to do this, okay? So they break up, and now she's saying that it was bad timing. Her relationship with David was bad timing, okay? And David tells her, I just wanted things to be easy. So he's trying to explain why they broke up. He's like, look, I just wanted things to be easy, okay? We were good when things were easy, and that's true. Okay, that honeymoon phase is always great, but you got to be careful about decisions you make during the honeymoon phase because you don't really know each other yet. That honeymoon phase, you're getting to know each other, okay? And what do we do when we meet somebody for the first time? We put our best foot forward, okay? We don't show them everything yet. We don't show them the bad qualities that we all have. You see what I mean? They haven't gotten on our nerves yet and that kind of things, okay? When you truly love somebody, you accept them for all their faults, their idiosyncrasies, okay? Their character defects, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay? That's part of loving somebody. You realize that they're a human being. They're not perfect. Okay? If you expect your partner to be perfect because you're in the fucking honeymoon phase, okay, then you're setting an expectation, okay? And expectations just build resentment. Okay, and that's what she did. She turned this guy, this David guy, into fucking Prince Charming so that she wouldn't have to deal with the guilt of fucking over her husband. She put him on a white horse so that she wouldn't have to fucking deal with the fact that she fucked over her husband. She turned him into Mr. Right so that she could prove that her current husband was Mr. Wrong. Okay? And now she doesn't have that current husband anymore. So now she's starting to see this guy for what he really is, and she don't like it. She don't like it. Because he's not, guess what? He's not Prince Charming. Boo-hoo-hoo. See, she demands perfection from her partners, but she herself is not perfect. She doesn't demand perfection from herself. You see what I mean? She's just walking narcissism, walking entitlement. So he tells her, man, I just want things to be easy. We were good when things were easy. And Liz says, like, I don't need easy right now, David. I just can't have so hard. So apparently that relationship with David was so hard. She suffered so much. Boo-hoo-hoo. Woe is me. I'm a victim. Why can't you be better? You see what I mean? The typical shit. So what she did to Steven, okay, by downgrading him in order to upgrade this new guy, now she's downgrading the new guy so she can upgrade whoever her next potential lover is going to be. You see how that works? You can't just fucking leave the current partner you're with, especially if you made vows and stuff like that. You can't. You got to find something wrong with them first so that you can justify leaving them, so that your conscience can be clear. You see what I mean? That's all she's doing throughout this whole fucking movie, is she's trying to clear her conscience so she doesn't have to feel guilt for anything. That's the whole point of this fucking movie. Go do whatever the fuck you want, no matter who it fucks over, because you know what? I'll teach you how not to fucking feel bad about it. That's the movie right here in a nutshell. So David tells her that he got a job off Broadway, so he got a new acting job. You know what that means? That means he's fucking somebody else. All right? And then he tells her goodbye, which he never should have called her, but oh well. Okay, he should have ghosted her, really. Okay, and of course she doesn't regret dumping him. She does not. Okay, she's gonna die on that hill. No, I dumped him. I ended that toxic, abusive relationship. Of course, it's always toxic. She's never toxic and abusive. It's always the guy, right? Okay. Later, she sees her. Richard sees Liz sitting in front of a fountain, and she looks very focused, okay? So he goes up to her, okay, and they decide to sit together and drink. And he tells her it's time for some thumbs up soda, okay? And but only with a straw, okay? So he sees her fucking feeling sorry for herself, depressed, and he decides, hey, you know what? Let's have a talk. Let's go drink some soda, some thumbs up soda. I guess that's a soda in India. Who gives a shit? I'm sure it's got fucking AIDS inside of it. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to end my review right there, but I'll be back soon to continue my review of this worthless piece of crap movie. Okay, I do this for fun. Okay, and just so you know, before I forget, just so you know, this right here, okay, Diego knows and knows Diego right there. Okay, that's my X account. Okay, this video will be on X. And this one right here, Diego de la Vega knows. Okay, that is my Rumble. Okay, this will be on Rumble as well. Okay, so anyway, thank you very much for watching this long. I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.